Hello everybody, and welcome back to Chapter Master, where I'm fulfilling a threat I made a couple weeks ago to do my own personal homebrew chapter. I can't remember, I think it was the Iron Hands video I made a suggestion that I was going to do that. However, before I do, I just wanted to briefly just talk about Chapter Master, the mod, blah 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 blah, in general in regards to all my videos. Now, it's pretty obvious that it's the most common and most popular thing on my channel. You all like it, and I love making it. However, the honest truth is, I'm kind of a little bit tired of it. And not in the sense of playing the game. The game is still fun. There's a lot of awesome things you can do in it. But I don't actually know where to go in terms of making videos with it. Because I like exploring the boundaries and opening all the boxes and doing as much as I can within the actual framework of the game. And that's fun, it's been good. I mean, I started off making, multi-part playthrough videos with the Lamenters, and you guys seemed to give up after like 3 or 4 parts, so I went to doing just single, video playthroughs of certain chapters. Pardon me, which you all seem to respond pretty well to, and they all seem to have a bit of fun with them, play through as a chapter, go over the fluff, my personal feelings on the chapter. You all seem to like that. Then I tried to do a few just little off-topic sort of things like chapter creation guides and stuff, which sort of just got a non-committal meh from all you guys, which is fair enough. It was a very niche sort of left-field idea that I threw out. But, blah blah blah. And I even tried playing as a Chaos Warband and this game as well, which, by the way, just as a off-topic again, that's the most polarizing video I've ever actually put up, with an equal amount to likes to dislikes. And nobody's actually ever bothered to leave a comment wondering why. I mean, if I made that today, I'd certainly do a lot more things differently, because going back and rewatching it, it's pretty shit. I didn't even bother equipping Chaos Artifacts, and the only real idea I had was just start attacking Imperial worlds and see what happened from there. But it's kind of interesting how polarizing it is, and as I say, no one actually leaves an explanation why. If you think something I make is shit, please write a comment just saying shit, or if it's because it's heretical, just write heresy on it. I do actually check the comments once a day, guys, so, feel free to actually comment, because you will actually be answered. But anyway, going back to the original tangent. So yeah, I've played as a loyalist. I've gone multi-part videos, single-part videos, chapter creation guides. I'm even about to do a homebrew video. Chapter video. But I'm just not sure where to go from here, to be honest. I do have an idea for something that I think will be really good and it will inject some life back into the series. But I need to wait a little while longer. I need a few more bits and pieces to be in place before I can do that. So in the long story short is, I want you guys to let me know what you actually want me to do in Chapter Master. If you want me to play as the Angry Marines and start yelling at the screen and shouting oaths to the Emperor and stuff, then I'll do a video in that. If you want me to play as someone I really hate like the Minotaurs, then I'll do that. Just let me know in the comments, guys, because I'm kind of stumped as to what to do. Alright, apart from that, that's everything from now, and we will get back into the main video. Alright, hello everyone, and yes, welcome to my homebrew chapter, the Storm Knights, which I actually created, oh shit, this would be like 2003? Whenever they made the first chapter creation guide in White Dwarf. Was it 5th edition Space Marine Codex? That would have been it's a bloody long time ago. 5th edition? 4th edition? I think it's 5th edition. But yeah, the first White Dwarf, they had the first Space Marine chapter creation guide in it. And I created this chapter a long time ago, and then sort of built out and went over the fluff and stuff over the years, and here we are. So yes, this is the Storm Knights. This isn't actually their symbol, because I'm having trouble uploading symbols to the Interstellar Army mod files. So, their actual symbol is a sword, except the blade is a lightning bolt, and it's on a background of a cloud, like a very dark black cloud. Now, the Storm Knights are a third founding chapter descended from the Dark Angels. They originally were a homeworld-based chapter on the homeworld of Siphonia. However, in the 38th millennium, their homeworld was destroyed by an orc war, and they resorted to becoming a fleet-based chapter. Ever since then, they've always been slightly under strength. So they're just surviving. Cooperation is about average. The Storm Knights keep to themselves. They'll always help out an innocent world if it needs it, but they don't go into the interior and stuff like that. They prefer to crusade along the edges. And purity and stability, standard Dark Angel stuff. Alright, disadvantages: never forgive, because of the Dark Angel thing. However, the Storm Knights are a bit different in terms that most Unforgiven members of the Dark Angels, because they actually resent and hate their founding chapter for condemning all of their sons and all of their successors of the same curse as they had during the heresy. They really resent their founding chapter for it. They're a member of the Inner Circle and they will actively hunt the fallen, but they resent their founding chapter for dumping it on all of their successors. They do not believe it was their fault or their problem, and they're just very bitter towards their founding chapter about it. Also, naturally, as a result, they're quite suspicious. The Inquisition, running off to, reluctantly do some of the Dark Angels' dirty work for them has made them a bit suspicious by the Inquisition, but standard stuff. Now, the Storm Knights themselves very much emphasize the knightly virtues. They're honourable, they're noble, they consider their armour and weaponry to be, the holy work of the Emperor himself. As a result, they expertly train with bolters, believing the bolter to be the symbol of the Emperor's wrath incarnate. They're also brothers all. Their massive emphasis on camaraderie and loyalty because of the whole knightly order thing, and they always have well-equipped honor guards, even if their chapter is below strength. And melee enthusiasts, because of the knight thing, they're very much into their swords in close combat. They recruit on the feudal world Telenor, which is also the home of a knight household, and the Storm Knights actually very much get on with that, with the Mechanicum Knight household on the planet. Both of them sharing similar sort of nobles and virtues, although they do sort of compete for recruitment, which brings them into contention a few times, but never anything bad came out of it. And their battle barge is the Serenity's Wrath, a battle barge dating back to the late era of the Great Crusade, and served during the Horus Heresy as a flagship of a Dark Angels captain. So it's a revered relic amongst the chapter. Aspirant trial is apprenticeship. They kind of do a Black Templars thing, where the scout company will always follow first company around, so the best of the best can train the new guys, and it's kind of an apprenticeship deal there. And their psychic discipline is telekinesis. They've never actually explained why it's telekinesis, wherein that's not the Dark Angels, their founding chapters, psychic discipline, but they just sort of roll with it. Their battle cry. Battle cry, for the names of the fallen. It has a double meaning. The first name is, and the reason they tell other Space Marines in the Inquisition and the Imperium, is that their battle cry to signify the names of the fallen, all of their fallen brothers that have died in battle. They fight for all of their brothers that have passed before them in the line of duty. But the secret meaning is, well, literally, for the names of the fallen angels. Livery, annoyed that the mod doesn't actually make a nice character model there anymore, but it's basically midnight blue, like the Night Lords, with black. It's actually very dark grey, but black is normal sort of da-da-da-da-da stuff. Black is like the closest I could get to... Oh no, there is a very dark grey. Apologies. black, dark grey to represent storm clouds, yellow to represent lightning bolts, black, that should be dark grey actually, to represent, you know, the storm, and their islands are red just because that's the same as the just roll with it. They follow the Codex Astartes in terms of unit like tactics and unit, you know, how they set up their chapter. However, the names are all different. Going back to the knightly thing, Knight Lords, Honor Knights, Paladins, in term for Terminators, Cavaliers are veterans. I've actually gone back to, believe it or not, Age of Empires 2 for the naming of cavalry. So in return, the naming of all of the units. Hussars in return, in regards to their assault marines. Squires, no knightly theme. Standard marines are just called knights. Sort of standard stuff. Nothing too complicated. Once again, as a Dark Angels founder, they have no genetic mutations, which is very good. The current chapter master is Sevatas Terram, and he wields a relic blade and a storm shield, both dating back to the Dark Angel, their founder. And the weapons themselves are the artifacts from a Dark Angel's captain that was killed by the Night Lords during the Framus Crusade. Alright, and we shall still has faith. And we shall crusade around for 10 or 15 minutes, and I'll explain a bit more about the chapter and some of their relationships and things, and we'll call that a video. Also, I'm slightly disappointed that my name didn't appear. Oh well. Because their actual recruiting world is Telenor. Telenor 2 to be exact, which is a feudal world, but whatever. Alright. So yes, Storm Knight's third founding chapter. They've mostly been crusading on the eastern fringes, although they've been occasionally, a number of times, been recalled to the interior, or even recalled to the other side of the galaxy on the demands of their of the Inner Circle in their first founding, or their founding chapter. They're not so religious about hunting the fallen as everyone else is. They say they're very reluctant about it. So, for example, if they're a fight, have a company on a world, and they suddenly get a report of a fallen in the next system, they'll usually take like a Gladius and 30 Space Marines over to deal with it, as opposed to pulling out a whole company or a whole chapter just to deal with a single bunch of, a single report of a fallen that could or could not be true. They're very much the Storm Knights. Their tactics are sort of, I suppose they're knightly, but they're very army focused. So they mob. The chapter always stays together, only breaking off into companies if it's required. So they're very they do a bit of the Minotaur's old mob tactics of actually, getting into the fight and attacking, en masse, as opposed to sort of just, sending one company to deal with a system. This tactic has resulted very well, because overwhelming force usually deals with most enemy forces. However, on a number of occasions, this combat style has almost led to the chapter being wiped out. Oh. There. Chaos. Sorry, the battle was falling out. To the chapter almost being wiped out on 3 separate occasions due to them, mobbing together, and then them being outflanked and overwhelmed and nearly slain. As I say, they refer to the Codex Astartes not as a holy writ or a doctrine, because they're knightly. Like, they follow very much the old Dark Angel Legion knightly sort of virtues. So, cloths over the armor, sword and shield and bolter. They're not so much into fancy plasma cannons and las cannons and stuff. Strength through blade and bolt gun is how they deal with most fights. And while that normally works, it kind of doesn't on a lot of occasions as well. It's kind of sort of meh about them. Interestingly, originally, when I first created them, the Storm Knights I created the Storm Knights, they were a successor of the Ultramarines. then they became a successor of the Blood Angels, and then finally about 5 years ago I actually sat down and completely redesigned this chapter to the chapter that I'm explaining to you now. Also, I spelt that wrong, but does anybody know what that name's from? It should give it... I'm sure you'll figure it out. Somebody out there will figure it out. And no, it's not a 40k name. That was me indulging, a younger version of myself. Yes. Storm Knights. Storm Knights seem to... as I've stated earlier, the Storm Knights prioritize civilians and the greater picture rather than sort of individual glory. Like, though they're the knights, they don't actually go out for glory and honor and stuff. They fight for honor, not for glory. So they'll, go out of their way to save civilians and do the right thing as opposed to doing the popular thing. Led them to exterminatus a few, chaos-infected planets, though, over the few thousand years they've been around. But hey, name me a chapter that hasn't. I was about to say the Lamenters, but the Lamenters did actually exterminate as a planet. They launched cyclonic torpedoes at it. I suppose even the most noble chapter is guilty of exterminating a world. Kinda depressing, but say la vie. So yeah, Storm Knights. The Storm Knights themselves don't actually... well, it's kinda hard. The Storm Knights, because of their founding, they honor the Emperor's request that he not be worshipped as a god, but despite that, they understand why mortals do worship him as a god, so as a result, they have kind of a sort of, a good relationship with the Ecclesiarchy. They have a less of a good relationship with the Adeptus Mechanicus, more because they usually end up just making jury-rig repairs to their own armor and equipment out in the field, because they don't usually have the time, or they're usually way out on the eastern fringe to get to a Forge world. But the Storm Knights aren't actually actively disliked by anyone, they're just mostly ignored. Which is how they like it. They like to be able to just operate by themselves and not have any, problems against them. Like, they've never actually served alongside the Ultramarines or the Blood Angels or any first founding chapter aside from their own. See, look, disposition allies plus 40. We shall praise you, for we praise the Ecclesiarchy and their good world. No. That's weird, that's not actually what... Anyway, that's the game. Yeah, this Gene Seed is secured on the Serenity's Wrath, and is, as with all Dark Angels Gene Seed, 100% free of taint and mutation. So that's all good and well. And that's about it with the Dark Angel, with the Storm Knight, sorry. I know I haven't actually had too much on them, and I haven't actually created individual battles or anything like that, but this is more of a grounding idea. And please, guys, in the comments, let me know your homebrew chapters, because I'm always interested. I want to see the level of things people come up with. Like, when I was a kid, all I created was the Storm. When I created the Storm Knights, all I had was the name and... ooh, maybe not. All I had was the name and the color scheme, but then over the years I've actually managed to, actually create something of them. So let me know if you have an awesome... oh, we're not going to bombard that planet, but we are going to wipe out this one. So let me know in the comments of your homebrew chapter and, any interesting fluff or backstory you have about them, because I'm always interested. I like it when people, create stuff like create your own Imperial Guard regiment or Chaos Warband or something like that. It's always nice to see creation within someone else's world. I actually think that's a sign of a good universe if you create your own thing inside that world. And no, I'm not talking about My Little Pony fan fiction or crap like that. I'm talking about creating your own team, and if you're watching Ruby, or creating your own chapter in this, or stuff like that. So yeah, let me know in the comments the bottom line of what I'm saying is, and we'll see how we go. And we will also see how the Storm Knights do in this situation. Venerable Dreadnought's been wounded. 267 accurate bolt pistol shots. That's what bolter training does for you. Oh, my librarians keep being suffered whispers by chaos. I honestly bet it's Tzench and Slanef coming together and being a bunch of dicks and trying to corrupt my chapter. You're just what you'd expect from those assholes. Nice. Alright, we might save this world and I'll call that a video, because I honestly have nothing else to say. And as I stated at the start of this video, I don't really know what the gameplay will actually do in regards to the video, because I always use the conversation. The gameplay drives the conversation, and the conversation comes as a result. Now, I know what I mean. I usually talk about something over the gameplay, and then the gameplay just shows up as an incidental. But yeah, I actually want to do a bit more in the 40k universe. Blech, weeaboos. Battlefleet Gothic Armada's coming out, and yes, I was one of the assholes that pre-ordered it so I could get the Space Marine DLC. Which, just on a side note, I'm not against pre-ordering as a theory. If it's a game you really want, and a game you know what it is, then that's fine. However, I do not believe you should be able that pre-order option should be available until at least the second or third trailer comes out. And 2 of those trailers have got to be gameplay trailers. Although, if it's a really good franchise, like, I've only ever actually pre-ordered 4 games, believe it or not, in my entire time. Which was Batman Arkham City, because Arkham Asylum was fucking awesome, and there was no way Arkham City could fuck that up. I know that's what I thought about Arkham Origins, but we don't talk about Arkham Origins. Saints Row 4, because Saints Row 2 and 3 are absolutely amazing, and Saints Row 4, after watching the first 3 trailers, I realised it's, even more awesome. Fallout 4, because I'm a huge Fallout fan, and Battlefleet Gothic Armada. And that was more because the game blackmailed me into it, because I wanted to get the Space Marine fleet. But anyway, that's another one of my side rants, which if you actually want me to do a podcasty style thing, do let me know. Although the problem with that is I always like to have someone to bounce ideas off of. And since my usual co-commentator is currently serving a tour in the US Army, I don't actually have anyone to talk to nowadays. But anyway, aside. So yes, for myself and the Storm Knights, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I may have a return of the Storm Knights and actually do a full, gameplay tour around if you want me to. But as I say, I'm leaving all of my Chapter Master videos up to you guys in the comments for now, while I figure out what to do with it and get my master plan up and running. So until then, guys, do actually comment, because I do actually read the bloody things. Watch a few more of my videos if you're interested. I do actually make stuff other than Chapter Master, believe it or not, guys. And I guess I'll see you all again another time.